The heavy leather bag didn't just hit Ryan, it redefined his understanding of physics. As it connected with his temple, the dull thud of stone and metal echoed through the VIP lounge. Ryan didn't move. For 24 years, he had been a ghost in a human shell, but the weight of that bag and the sharp reality of the pain dragged him violently back into his own skin. Amanda didn't wait for a reaction. Before the security guards could process the blasphemy they had witnessed, she ripped her employee ID from her neck and flicked it at his face. She marched out, her spine straight and her face radiating a satisfaction so bright it almost blinded the onlookers. Ryan sat up, moving with a terrifying, robotic confidence. He didn't rub his head, though a red knot was forming. He simply stood, adjusted his blazer, and walked out. His security details scrambled behind him, sweating. They knew Ryan's silence was usually the preamble to a massacre. Back at his mansion, Ryan sat in his dark study. He wasn't angry, he was curious. He touched the bruise and felt a pulse, the cool chill he once felt in the biology lab, but intensified. It wasn't the joy of killing, it was the shock of being alive. He summoned his lead fixer. "I want everything," Ryan whispered. "Her parents, her history, the contents of her trash. I want to know why she carries a building in her purse." By the next morning, a file sat on his desk. Ryan flipped through it, a slow, predatory smile spreading across his face. "She's proud," he mused. "She thinks she escaped. She doesn't realize that instead of going to her, I'm going to make her crawl to me." On the 6th day, Amanda had almost convinced herself she was safe. The adrenaline had faded into a desperate search for a new job, but the world had suddenly turned cold. Every door she knocked on slammed shut. From high-end boutiques to a position as a hospital cleaner, the response was the same. A sudden, unexplained rejection. She returned home, exhausted and defeated, only to find her world in ashes. Her mother was sobbing in the living room, her face buried in her hands. Her father stood by the window, his shoulders slumped, looking decades older. "Mum, Dad, what happened?" Amanda rushed to them. Her father spoke with a hollow voice. "It's over, Amanda, your mother. She was fired this morning. No promotion, just a letter saying her services are no longer needed. And my company. They let me go an hour later. No severance. Nothing." Amanda's heart hammered against her ribs. Coincidence? She prayed, please let it be karma, but the universe wasn't done. The next morning, a knock at the door brought their landlord, who handed them a summary eviction notice. Simultaneously, the creditors her father had borrowed from to keep them afloat appeared at the gate, loud and aggressive. They were becoming homeless, broke, and broken all in the span of 48 hours. In the sanctuary of her room, she cried out of frustration. Amanda calculated the timeline. It all led back to that night, to that bag, to Ryan. For 5 days, Amanda stood outside Ryan's corporate headquarters. She was denied entry by stone-faced guards. She stood under the blistering sun, her pride melting away with every hour. Inside, behind one-way glass, Ryan watched her. He sipped his coffee, whispering to the empty room. On the 5th evening, a security man in his 70s who had worked for Ryan's father for over 16 years and now works for Ryan had watched her suffer for days leaned in. "He won't see you here," the man whispered, pity in his eyes. He handed her a small slip of paper with a GPS coordinate and a time. "This is his private route home. It's your only shot." The next morning, Ryan was in the backseat of his SUV when the driver slammed on the brakes. Ryan looked up, annoyed, expecting an accident. Instead, he saw a girl standing in the middle of the road, arms spread wide, her face pale but determined. Ryan stepped out of the car, his eyes cold. "I was wishing you'd suffer a little longer," he said under his breath. Amanda didn't flinch. "Arrest me," she demanded, her voice trembling. "Take your anger out on me. Hit me, jail me, ruin me, but leave my family alone. They did nothing." Ryan scoffed, leaning against the car. "I expected you to be on your knees, little girl. You're still trying to negotiate." He turned to get back in the car. "You haven't learned." Panic surged through her. Amanda lunged forward, falling to the asphalt and grabbing his leg. A small crowd of commuters began to gather, whispering as they saw the powerful Ryan stopped by a girl in the dust. "I'll do anything," she gasped, her forehead against his expensive shoes. Anything for you to stop your games." Ryan paused. He reached down, gripped her chin, and forced her to look at him. He leaned in so close she could smell the peppermint on his breath. "Anything? How about you make this bruise go away?" "I wish I could go back in time," she whispered. "What's done is done," Ryan said, his voice dropping to a dangerous silkiness. "If you want to save them, show me how serious you are. Strip, right here. Let the world see what a beggar looks like without her rags. If you can handle the shame, I'll handle your debts." The crowd gasped. Amanda froze. It was a death sentence for her soul. She looked at the onlookers, then thought of her mother's tears and her father's broken spirit. "I'll do it," she shouted. Ryan smiled, crossing his arms. "What are you waiting for?" With trembling fingers, Amanda reached for the buttons of her blouse. The air felt like ice. 1 button. 2. The crowd went silent, phones beginning to rise to record the humiliation. Ryan watched, his eyes unblinking, waiting for her to break, waiting to see the final spark of her pride die. As Amanda reached for the fastening of her final garment, her eyes shimmering with tears of pure agony, something shifted in Ryan. The cool chill was gone, replaced by a sudden, violent heat in his chest. Before the fabric could fall, Ryan moved faster than anyone expected. He lunged forward, swinging his heavy wool jacket around her shoulders, pulling her body forcefully against his chest to hide her from the world. He held her tight, his breath ragged. Amanda looked up, her face a mask of confusion and terror. Ryan stared back, his own face finally cracking, a look of genuine, terrified surprise written across his features. For the first time, the boy who couldn't feel was overwhelmed by a sensation he couldn't name.